if you want to attach for the, well, that's for the to attach a corner.
Yeah.
I mean, the principle is amazing because
it is amazing.
You got everything is cut from the outside.
Go ahead.
And then you've got the inside. You can put your wiring. So
yeah, it's pretty amazing. Not used to the camera?
I don't mind.
You're probably pretty familiar with the product at this point. You've done some research or any
To be
questions?
honest with you, like I know a bit, but not in depth. So go ahead and teach us if you want.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had any questions. Or this is what we call a regular panel joint.
They're filming.
I'm gonna film you.
Yeah.
So you're a TV star.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just pretend there's no camera.
Okay. Yeah, so right here is just a regular panel joint, so it'll be an inline, and it's like a shiplap joint. So the stud is connected to one panel, and the skin's going to slip over to the top of the other panel.
And these are attached.
So we have bolting pockets at the top and the bottom.
Okay.
So before we put them together, we'll put a bead of sealant here, the connecting bead, bring the other panel next to it, hold it at the top and the bottom. Then we also seal the outside and seal the inside.
Okay.
So how thick is the concrete on the outside?
The outside here, it's 1 3/4 between the studs. This is where we have some extra concrete because of the sealant joint at this location.
Interesting.
So
everything's
galvanized steel.
monolithically poured.
Yep.
So when it's poured as one giant unit. So you got to picture that to be like a bridge, essentially. I mean, it's filling each one of those cavities, and each one of those stud bays is full of solid concrete with 1 inch of foam all the way around it. So from our standpoint, we picture just like a stick frame wall. Where's the strength at in the stick frame wall? It's not in the sheeting that goes on the outside. I mean, that does provide some rigidity, but it really, all that outside shell is doing is keeping the dirt out. All the strength is in each one of the studs. Each one of those studs is engineered for 11,000 pounds of load. The top bond beam is good for 5,000 pounds of uniform load. So we don't, the outside shell is just keeping dirt out, really.
So each post here is a cement post covered with styrofoam.
Correct. And then it has rebar, actually a piece of rebar that provides that tension so it doesn't keep flexing.
Yep, so number 4 rebar in each of the studs, 2 number 3s that run through the top and the bottom of each of the, what we call a top on beam and a footing beam.
So then inside after you can insulate if you want, you can put your sheetrock directly or your wiring.
Yep, there's chase holes, as you can see, there's chase holes.
And these that are left for which purpose?
Those actually, this is a galvanized steel stud tray, and that's basically like an ear. It's a tab that gets bent over and it's got a notch in it.
Okay.
And it's probably it's got to be in 2 inches, 2.5. I don't even know what that tab is.
It's about 3/4 inch past the 1 inch insulation. And what that does is it bends in and it has a spot that holds our rebar on the inside.
Oh, okay.
And that gets cast into concrete.
So that's how it holds before you pour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we pour, everything's poured laying down.
Yeah.
So you got to picture this.
You guys see it in
like
the video on YouTube.
Exactly.
You see how it's poured. Okay, I turn this right here.
Yep, so this is like a commercial stud, so just a regular fine thread drywall screw will attach your interior finish right to it.
You can't go a long screw. It's got to be like an inch screw, 1.25 inch, because you're going to end up in concrete otherwise.
Right.
And these holes here.
Wire chases. Yes, sir.
Okay,
so you can actually knock that out and run PEX tubing in there, or you can run your Romex or whatever that you might use.
So how about for plumbing? You don't have...
those will actually take a PEX line. But for
PEX.
like a large plumbing,
yeah, for like an inch and a half.
Line, you either got to run it on the outside of the wall and build a chase around it. We don't really have a good way of going through the stud cavity. If you need to do a discharge line on like a sump or a waistline, like a 4-inch waistline, you can just trace that right out on the foam, cut the foam out, and then just drill a series of small holes and tap the face right out. Or if you have a core drill, but most guys don't have a 4-inch core bed, you can just core drill it also, and then we provide 2 extra tubes to seal it. You can just seal that tube up.
And your sealant is all the patent, I think.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually, he's bringing it right now in boxes. It's a high quality urethane sealant. It's proprietary, but there's manufacturers that make something very similar to it, but we do recommend that you use our sealant. You almost have to, especially if there's a franchise or a licensee that's going to stand behind the warranty.
Right.
It's got to be, everything's got to be done by the book in order for us to stand up and say, okay, it worked.
So another, I'll always be devil's advocate there, but they put like a joint before you connect both sides. How do you know for sure it's like full waterproof, like everything is like sealed?
What'll happen, you'll see as they go, they're going to run a bead of sealant all the way down that wall.
Yeah.
And then that shiplap joint comes together, and then they'll get a bead of sealant that runs on the inside and a bead of sealant that'll run on the outside.
Yeah.
So for water to penetrate, a couple things have to happen. One, you have to have an immense amount of water or moisture in the soil, for one. And with that stone footing, it allows all the soil or all the moisture to dissipate. And then secondly, water's got to be able to come through that first bead of sealant, through the shiplap joint, and that sealant in that shiplap joint, and then through this also. Now if it makes it this far and it's leaking, something was probably not done quite right. Now, from a fix standpoint, a lot of times you can just strip that right off, that inside bead, and you can reseal it and recaulk it. Now, if it leaks in here and it doesn't make it to here, where's it's going to go? It's going to run right down the face of the wall, which you'll never see, and it's going to get right into the stone footing and dissipate anyway. So for them to actually penetrate in, it's got to go through a miragerie of protection in this.
Nice.
And this is an XI wall. This is an R12 and a half. I priced out the XI Plus for you, which is an R21.3. So, which the difference is this 2.5 inches of blue board, and the other one's 4.5 inches of EPS and 1/2 inch of Thermax. So the stud pack is actually, you don't have as much cavity.
Okay.
You still have all the same wire chases. They're just slid out further, and you can't put in as much extra insulation. You already have that extra insulation.
Right.
So that 121 point something, you gotta have this R factor for Canada, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
That's what I
assuming,
heard.
I'm assuming you have to be a minimum of R15 up there. I'm assuming. That's what ours
Well,
is.
So that's why this one would not be
It could.
theoretically. This one is how much?
R-
Depends on what
12.5?
package.
Okay.
We have different packages, insulation packages.
Correct. It
The
depends
home
on
that
how
we're
you
doing
look
now
at the
is
house. You
it's
guys
only
res check,
R12,
Okay.
which I was surprised.
where you look at the type of windows you're putting in, the insulation.
But the
packages,
last house we
how
did in
much
Lorne
insulation
Park,
is.
it was
You
R20.
might be able to get away with this,
So-
depending on what your above grade
crazy.
package is for your
Okay.
total house envelope.
I'm sorry.
No, there's just
And I
different
don't know.
packages,
Typically,
different
we build, we say this is
insulation
what code
packages.
says.
Different
If you choose to
ratings
res
for your
check, you go to
windows.
the res check and use an R12 and a half.
Of the two plants
I'm
that
not a
we've
foundation specialist either.
got going,
Yeah, I know
one
what
in
you mean.
Winnipeg
So,
and one in Calgary. They've
I
kind of
usually
had
go
two
with-
different approaches. The one in Winnipeg that's going with the XI Plus with the more insulation that's already built in. The one in Calgary is going with this product with the idea that they're going to be finishing it off and they'll add the insulation in that they need to bring it up to R values before they put theirs drywall on.
So, what is it in Oakville? You can
Well,
do?
the house that I'm building now, Rafi's, is R12.
And that was a mess on that one, but yes, that
So that's what we put, R12.
And then, without any additional insulation, you put the drywall on
What are
it.
you talking about?
Yeah, I use spray foam in the
getting
basement.
that
So
floor down.
it's going to be a higher R value.
So
Just,
you use spray foam too,
yeah, just in the basement.
just in the basement. So you brought it to what? R what?
No, they put like about an R13, but because it's sealed so well, it'll be a higher R value. And then plus we've got the radiant heating.
Okay, but without the radiant heating,
So
so
it's
you
a
have about
R13.
R13 plus the R12 already there. Is it?
No. We've only got what they've asked for. They've asked for R12, we gave them R12
With spray foam.
with spray foam, which is only 2 inches of spray foam.
You think that's good enough?
Hey, nice to meet you, Mark.
Listen, the other day when we had minus whatever, it was warm down there, and there's no heat in the house yet. So,
Yeah, I know we talked about it.
no, it's a good system.
Yes.
I was just when Aiden and I went up to Barrie to